A wild accusation by an ex's family spirals into a complex battle for truth and justice. Once trusted, they now try to destroy the narrator's life with deceitful claims. But in this gripping tale of betrayal, investigation, and redemption, every lie is picked apart and turned into a powerful act of revenge through truth. The intricate scheme falls apart, not with rage, but with reason, patience, and a flawless counterattack that leaves the accusers exposed for who they really are. I never thought my ex's family, people who once hugged me like their own, would try to frame me. But they did. They almost succeeded too. This isn't drama. This is betrayal, weaponized. Lies layered on top of lies. And I had to fight like hell to clear my name. What started as a ridiculous accusation quickly snowballed into a nightmare. But I didn't back down. I documented everything. I dug up truths they thought were buried. And I turned their fake story into the biggest regret of their lives. You'll want to hear how I pulled this off, step by calculated step. Before we dive into this story of betrayal and justice, don't forget to subscribe for more real-life revenge stories where the truth always wins in the end. It started with a call I'll never forget. I was on my way home from work, just a normal Wednesday. My phone buzzed and it was my ex's sister. We hadn't talked in months, not since the breakup. But her tone was cold. Calculated. "Did you really think we wouldn't find out?" she snapped. Confused, I asked what she meant, and she dropped the bomb. "You stole from our parents. We've already talked to the police." I laughed at first, sure it was some twisted joke. But she was dead serious. And then the texts started rolling in, from mutual friends, her cousins, even my old roommate. The family was accusing me of theft. Of stealing jewelry and cash from her parents' home. According to them, I had taken advantage of their trust during the last few months of our relationship. They claimed I had stolen an heirloom necklace, a few $1,000s in cash, and even a rare signed watch from her father's collection. They said it happened while I stayed over. It was ridiculous. First, I had never even been left alone in their room where they claimed the items were kept. Second, I wouldn't risk everything for items I had zero use for. And third, we ended amicably. Or so I thought. But they had proof, or so they claimed. And worse, they were pushing charges. My ex's family tried to frame me, big mistake. At first I was numb. Then panic set in. What if people believed them? What if I was arrested? How do you defend yourself from a lie that's been rehearsed to sound real? The betrayal hurt most. These were people I'd laughed with over dinner, exchanged gifts with, hugged during holidays. Now they were trying to ruin me. My reputation. My career. My peace. I couldn't let it slide. I had to fight. I immediately contacted a lawyer. Not because I thought I'd be arrested right away, but because I needed to know what my rights were and how to protect myself. Then I made a list. Every time I was at their house, who else was there, what time I left, what security systems were in place. I pulled up old messages, photos, timestamps, anything that could prove my innocence. Then came their so-called evidence. A blurry photo of someone entering the bedroom. Texts with vague timestamps. A receipt that proved I pawned something. But it all fell apart under scrutiny. The blurry photo? The timestamp showed I wasn't even in town. The pawnshop receipt? It wasn't even my signature or ID. The kicker? The necklace they said I stole. Turns out it had been appraised just weeks earlier. And the appraisal date? 3 days after we broke up. Meaning I couldn't have stolen it, because they still had it. This part stung. My ex had started dating someone new, but her family didn't like him. He was flashy. Reckless. She told them I had been too boring, too safe. So when the new guy hinted that I might have been shady, they ran with it. The family didn't want me back, but they wanted to make sure I stayed away permanently. Maybe it was pride. Maybe revenge. Or maybe, just maybe, it was projection. Because they had skeletons of their own they didn't want me around to see. With my lawyer's help, I built my timeline. Photos, location data, text receipts, witness testimonies. I even found a neighbor of theirs who remembered me helping carry groceries during one of the alleged theft dates. We created a digital binder of evidence, everything timestamped, factual, bulletproof. My lawyer reached out to the police. We voluntarily offered the evidence before the case escalated. And just as importantly, we submitted a defamation claim and demand letter to the family. They had published false accusations to others, and that opened them up to civil liability. They didn't expect me to push back. They thought I'd be scared into silence. A mediation meeting was set. Everyone was present, me, my lawyer, my ex, her parents, their lawyer. I watched as their faces changed while we unveiled each piece of counter-evidence. The photo? Debunked. The pawnshop receipt? Forged. But when we presented the appraisal with the date clearly showing the necklace had never been missing, her mother gasped. Their lawyer whispered something to them. You could see it. The realization. The embarrassment. The beginning of the end. It wasn't just one thing that cleared my name. It was the overwhelming consistency of truth. And the appraisal document? That was the nail in the coffin. Eventually, their lawyer advised dropping all accusations. No police charges. No defamation case, but also no apology. Just a quiet withdrawal. But that wasn't enough for me. I publicly posted a detailed account, without names, on a legal advice forum that went viral. Mutual friends began to question the family's version of events. The court of public opinion turned. Within a month, my ex lost a few close friends. Her new boyfriend dumped her, worried she was too much drama. And her father? Let's just say, he faced questions about where the money actually went. I didn't celebrate. I was tired. Drained. Even winning didn't erase the emotional damage. The trust one once gave so freely was now guarded. But I came out stronger. Wiser. And I learned a brutal truth. Sometimes people will create an enemy out of you because it helps them live with their own guilt. The hardest truth I learned is that betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from the people who once hugged you, called you family, and shared their table with you. I used to think loyalty was a given if you'd built years of trust. I thought shared holidays, heartfelt conversations, and favors meant something permanent. But this experience showed me loyalty for some people is conditional. It lasts only while it's convenient. The moment their pride, money, or image is on the line, they'll rewrite history, and in their new story, you might be the villain. When you live through something as surreal and damaging as being framed, you come out on the other side with more than just relief. You come out with scars, insights, and a completely different view of the world. This wasn't just a fight for my name. It was a crash course in how betrayal works, how fragile trust can be, and how powerful truth becomes when you protect it. Before this, I thought betrayal had a certain look. I thought it came with a warning, an argument, a falling out, a slow drift into silence. I never imagined it could come wrapped in familiarity, in the voices of people who had once welcomed me into their home and called me family. That's the danger of betrayal from people close to you. It's not a stranger kicking in your door. It's someone you invited inside, smiling as they twist the knife. I'd spent years thinking that shared holidays, heartfelt conversations, and mutual respect created an unbreakable bond. I believed if you showed loyalty, you'd receive it in return. This situation ripped that belief out from under me. The reality is, loyalty for some people is conditional. It lasts only as long as it benefits them. The second their own reputation, pride, or convenience is at stake, they'll rewrite history, and sometimes you're the villain in their new version. The only reason I walked away from this situation with my name intact is because I could prove where I was, what I did, and what I didn't do. If I'd relied solely on my word against theirs, I might still be fighting today. Here's the uncomfortable truth. In a world where lies can spread faster than facts, you can't afford to leave your story undocumented. That doesn't mean living in fear or suspicion. It means building a quiet archive of proof, just in case. One of the hardest things during this process was resisting the urge to scream my innocence from the rooftops. When you're being lied about, Your instincts tell you to fight fire with fire, to react immediately, to prove them wrong in the court of public opinion. But here's the thing, reacting emotionally can make you look defensive, unstable, or even guilty, especially to people who don't have all the facts. Mark, my lawyer, drilled this into me early. Don't just tell them you're innocent. Show them why their version can't be true, and do it with patience and precision. By holding back and working methodically, I didn't just defend myself. I dismantled their story piece by piece. I didn't play defense. I went on offense with evidence. And when the time came to reveal it, I didn't need to shout. The truth was so well documented it spoke louder than I ever could. So yeah, my ex's family tried to frame me. But in the end, they framed themselves, with their lies, their arrogance, and their underestimation of what the truth can do. If you've ever been through something similar, stay strong. Keep your receipts. And don't let anyone rewrite your story. If this video hit home for you, please like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more real stories where justice always gets the final word.